Mr. Tunde Ajayi, how are you, sir?
The one, the only.
Now, what I want to do, Tunde, actually, before you get started,
Yes.
I want to create a glossary
Yes.
of Tundeisms.
Yes.
So let's get them all out of the way in one go. So the first one is dream it.
Believe it, become it.
Right. Now, what's the one that's sort of like big up, shut up? What's that one?
Turn up, show up, blow up.
Good. Now, what other ones have we got?
Everything is timing.
Of course.
We don't get weak, we get deep.
Naturally.
Naturally, Richard, you're too much. But yeah, and obviously the main one, lions in the camp.
Where did that come from? What was it? When did that? So I remember it was a good few fights in, but what prompted that sort of a foray into the savannah, into a pack of lions?
Well, Anthony is a lion lover. He's always been a lion lover. Even if you go back and his amateur fights, his trainer at the time, Tony Cisse, he had it, Anthony Yarde, lion. And, big ads and Anthony, that, ads is like our motivational character, if you like.
Guru.
A guru, yeah. And Ade's got these bars, these C-noms, and Anthony, I can't actually put and say, yeah, this person, but it's not lion in the camp, it's lions in the camp. So it's a collective thing. But whatever it is, wherever it started, it's been directed at Anthony. And it's Anthony's thing, it's Anthony's trademark. And
Do you find he feeds off it?
Absolutely. Even when it's just me and him, he'll be on a bag, and I'll say it low at first. I go lions in the camp, and then he'll go lions in the camp, and then next thing, and it's grown.
If he's a bit sleepy and moody one day when he comes in, is that where it sort of comes in a bit useful?
Well, I don't know about sleepy. Andy's never sleepy. Anyone?
Well, he doesn't start training until 3, does he? So.
Anyone? Yeah, he does the sleeping before. But like I said from the start, Anthony's a special, unique individual. It's not something I've just started saying now. I've said it from the very start, and the energy has been built up. It's been increased. It was always there, and it's just evolved. And here we are.
Many years of hard work, sacrifice, probably a little bit of pain too along the way at some points, is about to sort of culminate in something, and the pair of you are heading off to a little village in Russia, the hometown of Sergey Kovalev. I mean, it's, what was it, Rocky IV, isn't it? It's got a bit of a feel about that Rocky IV, Dolph Lundgren about it.
Absolutely. And this is the stuff dreams are made of, and it has been our dream. I don't know necessarily to fight in Russia, but wherever it is, we set out with a goal of becoming world champions, unifying the belts, and retiring undefeated. That's the only thing I've only ever had in my mind. Even before I met Anthony, I wanted to be a special trainer, someone who goes down in the history, and to do that, you need a special fighter. And I wholeheartedly believe Anthony Yarde is that person.
You said about not necessarily dreaming about going to Russia, but one thing you said to me a number of months ago is that you said you feel it's right to give a great champion the respect of hopefully having his, losing his title, his retirement fight in his hometown.
It's not hope. We ain't hoping. That's what's gonna happen, Rich. Everything is timing.
You said it was about giving him that respect, wasn't it? To give him that fight in his hometown.
You have to, because this is where we are in the position Kovalev was 10 years ago. When he came over to the UK, he respected Nathan Cleverly as a champion, and he came here to honour and respect Cleverly as the champion. And his journey started on that night. Ironically, Oval Mackenzie, who trained out of this gym, was on that bill that night. The stars have aligned. 10 years, 9 years, I think it's actually 9 years, which is, again, quite interesting. It's us, from the Peacock Gym, going over to his hometown, and we're going to dethrone a great champion. This isn't two British guys fighting for a world title, a vacant world title. This is the unified, I think between 2013 and 2015, he was the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF unified champion.
It was only Adonis that had the other one, wasn't it?
100%. And Ring Magazine, Fighter of the Year 2014. I know my history. I know boxing. I know what this is. And it couldn't have been orchestrated by someone, something, any better.
Is it fair to say a couple of months ago, maybe a little bit more, you were getting a fair bit of traction sort of across social media channels with one or two, shall we say, provocative sort of utterances? Were you just on one at the time, sort of trying to rattle people's cages, sort of pull their chains a little bit?
What are we talking about?
You and Andre Ward and everything else. You went through a spell of trying to sort of I don't know. You were getting some publicity. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I remember Naz said all publicity is good publicity. But you know, me and Anthony are more than just a trainer-fighter situation. Some people might see that as a bad thing, but I defend my man. I back my man 100%. And everyone who goes up against Andy must get in their head that when you fight Anthony Yarde, you're also fighting Tunde Ajayi. And I just felt that, Andre, he made a statement that he can't give an honest opinion because he hadn't seen Yarde fight on the Kovalev fight. And then a week later he said Kovalev's going to stop Yarde. And I'm like, no, you didn't say that, Andre. Let me just state some facts here. And that's all it was. This doesn't take away the fact that Andre Ward is a great champion, or was a great champion. There's nothing more really he could have done in the sport. And so that's the Andre. Andre Ward, I've got nothing but respect for the guy. The other situation was, I think, the Barker and the Frampton and all that. And
you were rattling cages left, right, and centre.
It was good, man. I was loving it. I was like, because someone asked me today, what do I think about that with the Barker and White Rhino losing the other day? And I said, listen, one thing about Tunde Ajayi, and you can add Anthony Yarde to that, is that we've not got here by disrespecting any other fighter or any other trainer. I don't gloat over the fact that they lost as a team, but they shouldn't have attacked me because they're fighters. Fighters shouldn't attack fighters. Trainers shouldn't disrespect other trainers unless it's a bit of tongue-in-cheek and everybody is just a bit of a laugh. But I found that very disrespectful what they said, and I just had to defend myself and I had to defend Anthony.
I have to say, I've known you guys a little while now, and one thing you've been steadfast in doing is right from the start, all along, you've stayed in your lane.
Yes.
You've been quite clear about what your objectives are. You haven't let anyone deviate you from anything. You've stayed in that lane, and now it's paying dividends finally. Now you have been consistent in that, despite what anyone said about domestic opponents, this, that and the other. You fought the people you needed to fight to get into position, and here you are.
It's like I say, Rich, listen to this. A sentence. In that sentence, you have Canelo Alvarez. In the same sentence, you have Sergey Kovalev. In the same sentence, you hear the name Anthony Yarde. That's massive. That is stuff dreams are made of. There ain't anywhere further in the sport that you can go. This is the top of the mountain. So regardless of what people may have said in the past, present, or even in the future, we're here. Now, there's a reason why we're here. And I just feel that focusing on negativity is never going to be beneficial to anyone, not just me and Anthony. And we've chosen to just stay positive. Be positive in our training, only focus on positive things. And we're here. So maybe those people want to start following me.
Now then, last year, Frank Warren said to you, but he thinks Kovalev was on his last legs. You think he was going over the other side of the hill. You said, send me out to look at him.
Yes.
And you went out to, I think, Atlantic City and watched his first fight with Alejo Alvarez.
Yes.
Now, he lost. Have a rematch, and he actually fights quite well.
Yes.
Where do you see Kovalev as being at the moment? Because, like I say, you've got two extremes there, as an example.
Sergey Kovalev is a great champion. One that I'm not overlooking at all. One that, regardless of recent press clippings, I'm not going in there thinking that we're fighting a faded champion. That would just be foolish of me and Anthony. The main thing is, with me and Anthony, we've never focused on the opponent. We just haven't done it, because I feel, as a trainer and from a managerial standpoint, that focusing on the opponent is really benefiting the opponent. It ain't benefiting us, because the time I spend looking at him, I could be working on a different punch with Anthony. So I just feel that I have to look at Kovalev as the man that beat Nathan Cleverly, as the man that took the scalp of Bernard Hopkins, even though he was 49 years old. As the man that had a very close first fight with Andre Ward. Some say he won that fight, you know, and the man who, in the rematch with Elder Alvarez, literally boxed his ears off. And that's the honest truth. So this isn't, when we do KO Sergey, I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear that this was an over-the-hill champion, because he weren't over the hill a few months ago. He was bouncing on his toes for 12 rounds. And so, you know, if you didn't want to give Anthony the credit for actually even taking this fight, you know, let's get that right. You know, how many people would have taken this fight? But it's always, the journey has always been about us. It's always been about how we feel collectively at a team. It's not Anthony feels he's ready, Tunde Ajayi and Frank doesn't feel he's ready, or Frank feels he's ready and Tunde Ajayi and Anthony. It's a collective decision, and we all sat down after the Travis Reed fight in a hotel in London, which I won't mention. You never know, there's some funny people out there. And we said it's time, and the time is now.
And the journey to Russia begins soon. Tunde Ajayi, obviously, wish you every success.
Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you very much.